Hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel if you're still new. So I have decided to take a new route for this channel. So for quite some time now, I've been eager to do tutoring videos actually regarding programming slash coding. I'm gonna just attempt to do these videos until further notice and see where they get me to. um yeah Oh, one more to this. Anyways, so yeah, as said, I'll be doing some tutorial videos regarding the language called Visual Basics, which we use it on. I don't know, maybe if there are a bunch of IDEs there, but then personally I use it on Visual Studio. Maybe you might know about it, maybe not, but then I'm going to just be assisting those that need help with regards to the practical part of it. So that's what I'm gonna be focused. I think actually I'm gonna create a playlist and name it tutoring, where I'll just be posting tutoring videos, because I feel like this is something that I love to assist people. I love to help people with regards to coding programming actually. So and it's been a while. I just had some excuses, came up with excuses just to delay the process of me actually getting to start to do this kind of video. So this is my first video. I don't know how it's gonna turn out to be, but yeah. And also I'm using my phone for the voice, and then the PC obviously for recording what's happening here. So I don't know how it's gonna work out, but then yeah, hope for the best. Anyways, let's get into it. So yeah, as said, I'm gonna be focusing on the language for Visual Basics for now. I'll hopefully in the future I'll venture into C++ and Java, because those are the ones, and also Python. Those are the languages I've started doing, or already did, or some already or teaching myself, personal study. But then yeah, so Visual Basics, it's a language. It's not that very famous or popular, but then we use Visual Basics to solve problems actually, to come up with solution to a problem given, can be wherever. So yeah, this I think students from UG will relate to, who are doing computer science, or also those doing BA second year, because they're doing informatics 100. They would relate to what I'm going to be teaching here, and then I think it will be very much helpful to them, and as much as to anyone there out there who might be currently learning Visual Basics, or even considering to doing computer science in future. Anyways, so yeah, Visual Basic, we're gonna be using an application called Visual Studio 2019. There's a latest version called of 2022. We're not gonna be using that because it has bugs whatsoever. So it intends to crash midway the process or while compiling. It just has bugs in G. So I don't recommend it, as it was recommended to me not to download it. I also recommend it to you not to download it. Anyways, this is the application here. You can find it on browser. Just Google Visual Studio 2019. But then if you need help regarding that, you can just comment on the comment section, and then yeah, I'll do a video on how to install, get your Visual Studio, like the components you're gonna be needing in order to set it up actually. If you need help with that, you can just comment below, then I'll make a video doing that. Otherwise, for this video, I'm just gonna be short and brief. Not gonna be doing a lot of things. Just gonna be a summary of what Visual Studio looks like and how we use Visual Basic as a language to solve problems. Yeah, I'm gonna be focusing on problem solving and then the steps for problem solving. I won't be focusing on the theory, on like a example how coding came from, whatever, the people who invented whatever. No, I'll only be focusing on the practical part, teaching you guys or assisting you guys how to solve this kind of problem. If you're facing this kind of problem, take this route, or use this solution or this method to solve whatever you might be facing. So if you downloaded it, the Visual Studio should look something like this when you open it, and then just gonna get here and then create a new project. Also make sure your PC is a bit fast, at least 4 GB RAM, and 4 GB RAM, even if it's Celeron or Intel Core i3, as long as it doesn't have I don't know, say garbage, but then as long as it's not, the space is free, like doesn't have videos, unnecessary ones, music, or like pictures, like it's clean, so that it can be a bit more faster, because this application takes a lot of space, and it requires a lot of space in order to compile and run the applications whatsoever. Anyways, you should come here after you've downloaded and then open it, and then click the option for creating new project. Come here, choose the language for Visual Basic. That's what we're going to be doing here. If you're using Mac, I don't know, you can choose Mac. Otherwise, Windows, and then desktop here. And then from here, you're going to look for an option called Windows Forms App.NET Frameworks. This is what you're going to be using. If you don't find this option, simply means when installing your your Visual Studio, you didn't choose the right components in order for you to have such options. So from there, click next, and then you name it however. You can just say how can I name this? Well, since this just summary, and just let me just say okay, preg underscore, and then here you choose where you want to save your solution. You want to save your solution, or where your files will be saved. You can choose wherever. I'm going to be saved under here. It's fine. Also click here, place solution and project in the same directory. Make sure you click this, and then from there you click create. So I already have a scenario opened. So I'm gonna be using this scenario to just give you a summary of what Visual Studio is, the language for how Visual Basics looks like, the application, creating application, actually getting to run and solving the problem, in which the problem is what you can see on the screen at the moment currently. So they were given this scenario here saying prof, I know these are the lecturers that taught me informatics 1A on my first year. Prof Leung and Mr. Levia have decided to start a side hustle, LL Data, in which they will sell student data. As part of their launch promotion, they will throw in an additional 20% of data, design a solution, or design an application that will help LL Data automate the bonus calculation, so that when a person recharges with an amount in rands, they get amount plus 20% back in data. And then your answer should focus on rands, not data, such as if someone recharges with 100 rand, they should get back 120 rand worth of data. Don't complicate the matters. This is just them being sarcastic and funny. One thing about scenarios, from the scenarios you have to analyze and be able to depict or highlight the key points, which will be the steps for solving, which will be the step for problem solving. The first one, we have inputs, which is just the information you get from the user, the information that you will receive from the user. That's the input. That's the simplest way to explain it. In a scenario, you must be able to highlight that information you get from the user. That's the input. And we also have output, which is the information that your application will have to output to the user using the information that you got from the user. I hope it makes sense. Output, the information you output to the user, or what is expected out of your application to output. And then we also have an action. Action is a process which will be taken in order for outcome to output or information whatsoever. In simple terms, I guess, or you can just say calculations, because you're going to be doing calculations. So actions like the calculations which will be taking place in order for the applicant to calculate the 20% of data, 20% amount of 20% towards the user have entered into application, and then be able to output the 20% plus the amount that the user have entered as your output. Yeah, hope it makes sense, because that's what you're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing actually. That's what we're supposed to solve. When the user input or enter the amount of 100, then the application itself is supposed to calculate the 20% from the 100 and add it together to the 100 and then output the final amount, which will be 120. So yeah, input, the info you get from the user, and then output, the information you output to the user. Actions, what happens inside the application. That's basically what it means. What's going to be happening, the user won't be able to see what's happening. The user will just input information, click something, and then when that person clicks something, an action will happen inside the application, and then the application will output information to the user. That's all the user will be able to see. So yeah, here you're supposed to, the input will be the amount of rents that the person enters into a system. And then the output amount, can be this, and then action is going to be automatic bonus calculation. So while we're going to be doing calculate, this is just, I feel like this is what 2-in-1, because you are going to have to calculate the 20%. You also have to output the final amount, which includes the 20% in it. So this might be 2-in-1 for now, but then later on you'll see there'll be more more clearer. Anyways, let's get into it. Recap whatever, input, output, explain that. You don't have to worry about, if you want to know about this, you just have to focus in class or wherever you are with regard to designing. This is the designing part. We actually have two parts of solving these scenarios, where we have the designing part, where you actually get to do it on paper. You write your inputs down, output, use cases, where you're gonna be doing your actions, algorithms, variables, and interface. I'll explain what an interface is, and then this is just a summary. This is what we call an interface, basically. And I don't have a right word for this, but it's what the user is going to be interacting with. In order for the user to input information, click something, and also be able to receive information, we're going to be using an interface. You'll see it more clearer in Visual Studio. So let's just get into it, and because I'm not going to explain anything now, I'm just doing a summary, or more like an intro of what we're going to be doing. I won't be explaining anything. So this is what we call an interface. What you see here, this white thing, it's called an interface. This is where you're going to be placing or designing your application, and then you design your application using these controls here. These are the common ones. If you want all of them, here they are. Under all windows, you can find all your controls whatsoever, but we're going to be using the one under common controls. Mostly we're going to be using button, label, which will be used to label, just used to be we use labels to label text boxes, or just give more description of what the user is supposed to enter on that part. You'll get to see it more when we design this thing. And then button, what the user is gonna click. Button is a button, doesn't need more explanation. Text box, where the user will input information and or get the information, or the application will output information on the text box. So it can be used in two ways. On that note, you also have to, based on the number of inputs, outputs, and actions, you also, based on the number of those actually tells you the number of buttons you're going to have, number of labels you're going to have, or number of text boxes you're going to have. In this case, we only have one input and one output and one action taking place. So we're only going to have one. Or actually two text boxes, because one is where the user will input information, and then the other one will be where the application output the information, and a button which the user will click in order for the information to be processed and the application to give feedback. I hope it makes sense. So let's get into it. This is called an interface, is what you see, and then this is a form. Sorry about this, I already dragged drop it. Let's see if I can delete it. And then we say the whole of this is an interface, and then here with this thing here, the one I clicked, as you can see here, it's surrounded by whatever, a little box there. This is a form. We call this a form. You can actually get to rename it under the properties. Under the properties, that's where we're gonna be renaming our controls. We'll also have a solution explorer here, this side, where you can see your files whatsoever. You can add and delete, but we're not gonna alter anything here at the moment. So now we're gonna be focusing on the property side, because that's what we're gonna be working with. So we're gonna be editing on two things, on some things, not everything. We're gonna be editing on the text. The text is what you see, which is under appearance. Doesn't need more explanation. It's appearance, what you see. So what you click here, you can actually change it here on the properties. Color whatsoever won't be changing much. We'll only be changing the text part, and also under the data, or not under the design, or will also change on the name part. I'll explain which one. Appearances affect what you see here. It's appearance, what appears on the screen here. So for now, for example, if I change this to maybe tart, or actually, because we're speaking about data, it's gonna be something like data. Something like data. So it actually changes here at the top, as you can see. So appearance changes what you see with your naked eyes. Then the coding part, which is the one under design, you'll only be able to see this under the coding part when we're doing code. But for now, we can just say data. I'll get to show you where it has changed, but for now, you just can change this from the by the way, when you're renaming this, you just take, I don't know if I should say abbreviation or acronym of the name, the formal name of these things. For example, this was a form. So as you can see here, and when renaming this, I said FRM, standing for form, and then data. It can be anything here, just that now I'm going to be talking about data, or the scenario is about data, hence form data. Anyway, and again, this is under the design part. You'll only get to see this part under the coding part when we're doing the code. For now, you won't be seeing it because it's not under appearance, it's under design. You can only get to see things that are under appearance. So for example, if I were to change the color, I don't know of what, but then background color, this is the background color here. And then you actually get to see that, but you won't be altering much of these things. Only the name, the text part under the appearance. Actually changed this thing. I think it was white or something. Okay, Yeah, so we're actually gonna be changing the appearance part, the text part, and under design will be changing the name part only. So yeah, with that being said, you can actually get to resize this to however you want. How, however you want, can be smaller, it can be bigger, but just for it to be neat, just make sure it accommodates everything that you're gonna be needing, your controls whatsoever. So yeah, with that being said, we're gonna be having let's see if I can spell this okay. Oh, uh-huh. Ooh, okay, this messes up my thing now. I'm just gonna have to build this a bit. So okay, actually never mind. Anyway, this is what how our design would look like. Oh yeah, here you can name it whatever. I didn't name it like this, I just named it as data. Doesn't matter, it can be whatever. Also FRM, doesn't matter, I just said FRM data. You can name it however, that's not important. The important thing is actually you to understand what's happening there, and what is used for what, and how you get to do the coding part. So we can just gonna be doing something similar like this, nothing complicated. These are labels used to give a description of what's happening next to it. Here this text box is, you can see it's txt recharge, so recharge value. So these labels helps the user to understand what the user will be inputting or entering on this text box. Calculate airtime, this is the button that the user will be clicking. This is the text box that will the application will output information to. Yeah, total airtime, again it's a label. So let's actually get to do the coding thingy. So just you can drag and drop or you can double tap, whichever you want. Yeah, here is where our label is gonna be. Text box, drag and drop or double tap, whichever you want. Make sure they're aligned very well. We're actually gonna need a button, another copy paste, because we're gonna need might be, I think that way too close. Okay, no, this is a mistake. Shouldn't, this is the coding, but this is where we'll be doing coding, but it's not important for now. For now we still have to make sure these things are aligned properly. There's enough space and they are neat and all that. So we have to name, now we have to rename each and every of these, not all of them. We have to rename this to something, to something that makes sense, not label one. We have to rename this to something, we have to rename this to something, we have to rename this to something. But these text boxes we're only gonna change the design part, not the appearance, because you see there's no text here, so there's nothing to actually what's that, change or name. So this one we're gonna be renaming it under the design and under the appearance. So here's gonna be a recharge amount. Yeah, spelling guys, bear with me. Ooh, recharge, I'm not even sure if it's the right one, but doesn't matter. This will change the appearance, remember, what you see with your naked eyes. I don't think it's important to, but you can, just for good practice, to rename this part. It'll be a can just say recharge, and then yeah, but I won't be on the upcoming videos. I won't be renaming the part of label, because we're not going to be using label in code anyway. We're not going to be using it anyway. This is just for the interface part, for the appearance part. Anyway, here you can just also this will be responsible for price or whatever. What can I say? For now, it doesn't really matter. Total what? Total airtime. Yeah, actually, total airtime. Time. And then the button we are naming both. This is a must. You can, well, not necessarily a must, but for good practice, you rename both the appearance. You can just say calculate or what? This is a promotion thingy, discount actually. Is it discount? Promotion actually. Sorry about took so long to do that. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, promotion. And then also rename it on the button side, BTN, by the way, promo. And then for the text boxes, you can rename your name only the design part. The appearance, there's no need to rename it because there's nothing in it. And then to rename the design part, you say TXT. TXT, this one will be for recharge. Recharge. And then this other one will be for airtime. Airtime, TXT, airtime. Now that we are done with this, oh no, no, okay. So as you can see, under appearance, there's actually nothing on the text part, so there's no need for you to edit or anything. Don't do anything on it, you just leave it as it is, but you only change under the design part. Anyways, this is how our interface would look like after you've done designing it. And as I said, the number of text boxes that you're going to have will depend on the number of inputs and outputs that you have. The number of buttons that you have will depend on the number of actions that you have. And then it's also advised that you don't necessarily put a lot of actions in one button, because that might complicate some things for you. So yeah, it's good practice for you just to try and put each action in each button. I hope it makes sense. So here we are calculating the data, the data promotion. Maybe if there were a lot of things we have to calculate after calculating, we are calculating the text or whatever, it would be good practice to create another button here, which will be responsible for calculating that or processing that certain action. I hope it makes sense. So for now, this is what we're gonna be dealing with, just to make it more better. Anyway, now with this done, I don't think I'm forgetting anything. We can move to the coding side. Well, the shortcut for you to go to the coding side, you can press F7. You can press F7, it will take you to the coding part, or you can double click on the form, or you can actually double click on the form. Well, it will take you here. This we're not going to be talking about anymore as yet actually, not anymore. So this is the part where I told you will see only under the coding part. If you still remember, FRM data, we renamed this under the properties. This is the design, this is the coding part. This will be doing the coding, this is the interface. Design, coding. Hope it makes sense. Here you get to change your outer appearances and the buttons, the controls, whatsoever. Here we're actually putting logic to our thing. We are actually implementing, that's the correct word. We actually get to implement our thing in order for it to work, our application. So yeah, FRM data, if you change whatever under the form, you click the form and then you go to the design and then you change, it will also be changed in the coding part. So yeah, anyway, let's continue. So yeah, we'll call this a class. This is a class. This is basically a class. These are the two actually data lines of code. you get when you press F7 directly and it takes you to the coding part. This is what you get. And then we'll be doing our coding, our algorithm inside these two lines inside the class thingy. This is how our class should always be look like or be. This is how our class should always and look like. Should always look like and be. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, yeah, we'll be doing our code inside here. That's what we'll be doing our code, we'll be declaring, we'll be doing whatever. So anyway, let's continue. So we're gonna be, first of all, what we're gonna be needing variables. So to declare variable, we're gonna be needing variables was used to store information of a certain data type in memory. So to declare them, which is actually getting the program to store those weights, you actually go like private with a capital letter. The variables also, just like text boxes, the number of variables that you have, not always but will sometimes be equal to the number of inputs and outputs that you have. And I'm not sure about actions, but they are for now input and output. For example, input we have one, so we actually need one variable for input here, which will be recharge. You can choose whatever. And then there's recharge as since is would be money, and money can also be decimal if I'm not wrong. Yeah, money can also be whatever. So there's a double actually. This is how we declare a variable. This is variable. This is the information that we'll use to store information either from the user or from whatever to display. Just know that a variable is a weight or a weight. Yeah, actually a weight that is gonna be used to store information in memory of a certain data type, where a data type in this case is these things. We have types of data types. Data types are just keywords in the whatever in the visual in this IDE or program or what do you call it? IDE is words which does what? I forgot. But then yeah, you get to understand as you continue. I forgot the term for it. But these are called data types. We have many types of data types: double, integer, string. Those will be the main one we're using. We also have char for character, double for decimal values actually, integer for whole number values, is integers, negatives, positive integers whatsoever. And then we also have string, which is a collection of characters, example your name or a sentence or a word or whatever. That's a string. And then character is a single single character. Can be A, can be B, can be 1, it can be 2, can be comma, it can be whatever the special cases. As long as it's a single thing, it's a character. And then string, a collection of characters. Hope it makes sense. But for now, for this practical, we'll only be dealing with double. I don't think you'll have an integer. So we're only gonna need this is what I did here is called declaring. You're actually telling the program, so program, I want you to store this word memory, which would be reliable to store information of data double related information. Hope it makes sense. Decimal related or whatever. So anyways, so meaning this variable will only be able to store information of decimals whatever, even though there's casting. But then the main purpose of this for now is that this variable will store information of commas, in short. Anyway, also we need another variable for output. We only have a single output that we should output. So we're gonna have private total airtime. Total airtime as double. Again, why? Because airtime can have commas, same as a person recharging. A person recharging can recharge you with 12 comma something, or 12 rand 50, 10 rand 50, 5 rand 50. Yeah, just take this money in jail because it's airtime and money is more like the same thing. So yeah, anyway, these would be, oh, we also have what we call comments, which is just used to help the programmer himself or herself, whoever, yeah, whoever actually, to accommodate everyone. These comments only you do them by pressing, what is it called, this thing, I forgot it, but you can see here on the computer this thing. Then what you write after this won't be included in your part of code. It only helps the programmer to understand what's happening on that line or on that part whatsoever. So for example, I can write this comment just under here or above this variable and say declaring variables. Hope it makes sense. This is a command. It helps the programmer to know what's happening under or on that line or wherever, or what's happening with that code he's dealing with or she's dealing with or whoever's dealing with. Anyway, comments, and then to make a block comment in order for example to comment this whole line here, you can highlight it, highlight it and then go here at the top. There's comment out the selected one, and there's this shortcut here which doesn't seem to work on my computer. I don't know why. Control K doesn't work. Control C is for copying. Ooh, okay, wait, all right. Okay, wait. Control U and control U. Okay, so I thought Control C was for copying. Wait, what's happening? Control K, Control C. Oh, okay. Now I see. Control K, Control U. Okay, so you have to press Control K, then Control C to copy, Control K to Control U to, Control K to Control C to comment, Control K, Control U to uncomment. Hope it makes sense. Anyway, let's continue. We have these two variables. Like I said, they'll be used. The first one will be used to, we can just say, used to store info from user or person. Ne? This one comment here, you can just say used to store the total amount of time, ne? including ooh, my spelling there, sorry about that, including 20%. Anyways, with that being said, we're gonna also need another variable. This variable will be used for calculating, to actually calculate the percentage. To actually to prove to you that we're gonna need another variable for action, let's just work with this for now and see what's happening in future. Anyway, after doing this, we're actually gonna need to, the logic, the calculations will have to be inside a button. In this case, this button, yeah. So the calculations for calculating that 20%, like when the user enters the amount, then you calculate the 20% of that amount, then you add it to that amount and then output it as a total amount of whatever. So in order to do that, the code behind that, or the logic behind that, or it's coding, the coding itself will have to be another button. How do you go another button? You're in this coding page, you go to the design one and then you double click on the button. This is just one click, just like when I click here, and then you double click and then it will take you to the button part. So your coding will be inside this button. Remember BTM, if you still remember, we have the name of the button here, which is BTM promo, because we change it under the if you still remember, under the properties, under design. This is where you get to see if it's actually changed or not. So you're supposed to see here, you're supposed to see the name that you renamed it with here under the design. Anyway, let's continue. So the first thing that we need to do here is actually to get the information, because remember the user will input information here on these text boxes, the amount of the recharge amount that they want, 50, whatever, any amount, and then we need to take this amount and then actually get to store it in this variable recharge, because we're saying this variable will be used to store information we get from the user. In this case will be the recharge amount. How do we get to do that? So the symbol, and remember this will have to be done inside your button, because that's where the actual action. Now we are doing the actioning part. So yeah, how do we do that? It brings us to something called assigning. We get to assign this variable to another something else. So we're gonna be saying recharge equals to, now we want to assign this variable to the text box. We are getting this text box, the user will input information from this text box, so we need to get this information from this text box and store it inside this variable. I hope it makes sense. So we need to take the information from the text box. How do we do that? That's where the importance of renaming your controls comes to place. So you just call txt, remember we renamed it as recharge. So this actually calls the whole of the text box, the whole of what? The text box. And then for you to get, because we don't want the whole of the text box, we actually want the contents inside the text box, which is the weights or the information. For you to get the information inside it, you just have to say txt recharge dot text, and then this will actually get the information within the text box and then assign that information to the recharge. This whole process here is called assigning. It's called assigning. And then also here you can just simply say getting information, getting amount, or getting amount, recharge amount, actually recharge amount from user, and then this process here is called assigning. So now our variable, we know that this variable here, it has information. What kind of information does it have? It has the amount, the recharge amount from the user. So we need to manipulate this thing here. So we can simply just say total airtime. Now we get to do the calculations, equals to recharge, recharge plus, actually I don't think we'll need be needing an extra variable, plus open brackets. In here we calculate, this is the amount that the user will input, and here in this bracket we have to calculate the percentage of this amount and then add it to this amount. I hope it makes sense. I hope it makes sense of what's happening here. Anyways, that being said, the recharge plus how is it going to be? It's going to be a recharge, if I'm not wrong. Recharge multiply by 20. You can just say 20 divided by 100. I'm not sure if 20% works, so I'm just gonna use this all the way here and say over 100, and then another bracket. So what is, yeah, this is mathematics here. This is mathematics. I don't think there's anything. Actually, again, this is called assigning. You're assigning this total airtime to this calculation, which is just calculations here. You can just, for example, the user input 100 here on this text box, and then we assign it to here. That means the recharge has 100. That means the recharge has 100. Recharge has 100. So here you actually get to calculate the 20% of the 100, which is 20 rand, and then take that amount, add it to the 100, and then take the total amount, which is 100 plus 20, 120, and then assign it to total airtime. Now our total airtime has 120. This is an example, by the way. So now we need to display this total airtime to the user, ne? Or to this text box rather. That information that when the user clicks this button, information must be displayed here. So that total airtime must be displayed here. So we're going to be doing the vice versa of what we did here, in a way, if you know what I mean. It's also called an assigning, but we're doing the opposite way. We're no longer getting the information from the user, we're actually giving the information to the user. I hope that makes sense. How do we do that? Call the text box where the information will be displayed at, ne? And then again, like I said, we don't want the whole of the text box, we want to display only the information. So it's going to be the text equal, why do I keep doing enters? I'm so used to Java. Anyway, now you assign it to total airtime. So now again, don't forget comments. You can just do comments here. You can just simply say calculating the 20% of recharge amount of recharge amount, and then here you actually saying displaying the total amount of airtime. So it's gonna be looking something like this now. These are variables. This is called declaring. These are variables. On the next video I'll get to more details on variables, in the manner in which you can declare them, because there are rules on how to declare variables. This is actually assigning, and then actually doing some assigning here, just that each and every one of these assigning has different purposes, because here we're getting information from the user, we're using the information we got from the user, manipulating it and into doing some calculations to calculate the 20% of whatever, and then here we are displaying the total amount of airtime to the user. I hope this makes sense. Just a simple thing. Then after you've done this, then you have to click start. That's where you get to run your application. You click start and then you wait. Yeah, might get some errors, I'm not sure. Hope not. Okay, so now let's input, for example, 25 50 rand. They gave an example of 100. When you click this, it must show 120 here, I mean to say. It does show. So it can actually put a lot of things here, or it can actually put anything you want, and then it will get to calculate and display 50 or any amount that you want, 24, just to show you go to its works with decimals also. What else? 36 or anything. So we see now this application runs smoothly. So this is what we call an application. You enter information here, you click the button, and then the information is displayed to you, and then you can actually get to, I don't know, maybe prove it, or I don't know, test it if it's calculating correctly or something on your calculator there. Anyway, but then this is a short way. The reason I thought it was going to give me an error is because I didn't convert this, which we'll be actually discussing about this on our next video. So there's what we call casting or converting, because as you can see, a recharge is of data type DAVO, and then this by itself is what it's called, is of a data type string. As you can see, like, it's a text, because a text is a string, by the way. It's a collection of characters. So technically this shouldn't work. Well, yeah, it's wrong, Mara. but it works for now. Okay, but it works for now because we have not included some restrictions here at the top, which we're going to be talking about in future videos. For now, yeah, this is a short example of creating an application based on this scenario. I don't know if I explained it very well or I gave it much whatever. But yeah, if you don't understand, if you didn't get the point of this video, I don't know, if you still need more clarification, you can just comment. And then yeah, and also if you like the video, just give it a thumbs like, so they say. And then also don't forget to subscribe. And also those that need help with this kind of thing, you can just recommend and share to your friends, your students, fellow students, or whoever. Yeah. Anyways, this is all for today. The next video that I'll be doing, I'll be focusing on the variables, how are the rules or manners in which you can declare them, data types, different kind of data types, strings, integers. Maybe I'll be using two scenarios to showcase different data types. Also the casting part, yeah, I think I'll get to include it just so we be on the same page. And then actually on the next practical, I'll be using one of the past practical that I've done in my first year. So yeah, stay tuned guys. Have a good day. Ciao ciao.